Hi, I'm Wendy Gratz from ShinyHappyWorld.com, and today I'm going to teach you a beginning embroidery stitch. There are a few different stitches I'm going to show you for outlining, and this is one of the easiest ones. It's called a running stitch. So I've got some lines marked on here that I'm going to be able to follow. I've got several lines because I'm going to end up showing you several different outline stitches, but today we're just going to do the running stitch. So I've got my thread knotted, and you're going to come up from the back right on your line. Pull that through. You don't want to tug that knot because you actually could pull it through. Just pull it so that it's right there to the back of the fabric. Now, some people will sew everything from the front of the hoop, and I do that if I'm hand sewing, but when I'm embroidering, I actually do what's called stab stitching. I feel like I get a lot more control. So I'm moving my hand from the front to the back. And what you're going to do is end up with a little line of like dashed line. So you're going to come up from the back and then go down from the front. And you just do that all the way along. A couple of things that you want to be aware of when you're embroidering: you want to try your best to make all your stitches the same length. That is going to give you the nicest running stitch. You don't have to have the back stitches the same length. You'll see here that I've got a smaller space in between two stitches than I have as the length of a stitch. I just like the way that looks. But you could make them spaced farther apart or more closely together. The main thing is that all your stitches are the same length and all your spaces are the same length. But the stitch and the space don't have to be the same length. You just work your way all the way down. Stab stitching is a little bit slower than stitching all from one side, but usually when I'm doing hand embroidery work, I'm not in a hurry anyway, and I want to make sure that my work looks really nice, and I just feel like I have a lot more control over it when I do it stab stitching. And that's it. You just keep following that line. Embroidering is really a lot like coloring in slow motion. You just follow the lines. And take your time. Just be careful and have fun with it. So that's a running stitch. One thing that I want to point out is that we're doing this running stitch along a solid marked line. You're almost never going to run into a pattern that has the individual stitches marked. I've done that on a couple of the first patterns that I'm going to be making available to you guys just because you're beginners and that'll help you to make your stitches even. But normally a pattern is going to have just solid lines, and it's up to you to decide what kind of stitch you want to use on that lines. So that's a running stitch, one of the most basic and easiest embroidery stitches. Next time I'm going to teach you how to do a back stitch. That's almost exactly like a running stitch, except there are no spaces between the stitches. I'm Wendy Gratz from ShinyHappyWorld.com. Thanks.